Let's go. Welcome to the Dynasty Deep Dive, where we go beyond the surface and into depths unknown. We have a special guest, the second time on this show. I don't just bring anybody around to come talk ball with me. Z, you blew me away the first time. We're going to get you back. We're going to have a lot of fun today. How are you doing, man? You just got back from Spain. You look like you got a little glow to you. How's this football season going for you? How are your fantasy teams doing?
Overall, fantasy football is doing well. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking too, by the way. And happy to be back here the second time. I had a really fun time with you talking deep cuts the first time. But overall fantasy football is doing good. I'm pretty successful, moderately successful in all my leagues right now. Dynasty is pretty good right now. Seasonal, I think I have my best redraft league ever in my main league right now. This is the first time I drafted a team. I can't remember. This is like the first time I drafted a team in like 10 years in my main redraft league, where as soon as I finished it, my wife looks at me. She goes, "How'd you do?" I look at her. I go, "I'm going to win this year. I'm going to win." My team is so stacked, dude. I have Jonathan Taylor, Quentin Johnston, Emeka Egbuka, JSN, Trey McBride, J.K. Dobbins, CeeDee Lamb, who's hurt. I got Rashee Rice on the bench. This is a 10-man league, but these are guys who I got Rashee and Quinchon were just there like towards the end of the draft. Nobody picked them.
Wanted them, yeah.
And I got Kamara, who I want to bench. I got Woody Marks on the bench, dude. I mean, I got Ricky Pierce on the bench. I got J-Mo. I'm probably never going to use. Drake May. I got Drake May. Shout out to Scott Barrett for Exodia. I was driving home when I was listening to Scott Barrett's podcast, and he was like, my Exodia quarterback was Drake May. And that night, somebody dropped Drake May, and I picked him up. He's been my started quarterback since. And I've been having so much fun watching Drake May. So all in all, I'm having a good time. I'm feeling really good. I have a really strong team, and still early in this season. I'm just trying to savor every bit of it because I know this stuff it blows by so quickly. So I'm just trying to savor every bit of it.
Dude, what I will say is this game is beatable, right? Those guys you just mentioned, it sounds like a no-brainer, but people were avoiding some of those guys, right? Quinton Judkins, I have so much Quinton Judkins and was so adamant about it. I'm like, dude, he's worth a flyer in the 10th. You can't tell me otherwise. I don't care if he misses 8 games, right? If he comes in and gives you that production, which he's giving us in week 3 and 4, and now is in that must-start kind of territory going forward. So I love those names you mentioned. I think you and I see eye to eye on a lot of our favorite players. And, just kind of finishing our lap around the track of gloats, I just told you before the show, I won Fast Drafts week 4 Quick 6 tournament, $1,000 in my pocket. Shout out to Fast Draft. And then on my other show that I do for Player Profilers, Sleep Stream Stash, my sleeper of the week was Woody Marks. And I put him – I did not just talk about it. I be about it. I put him in a very competitive 12-man league where I was up against Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts. This guy had a super team. He got dog-walked by Woody Marks. So let's go. And I'm so excited to get back on the horn with you because on our first show, we were talking about Elijah Badger, Phil Maffa, Montrell Johnson.
Oh my God, dude.
Any of these guys, that's probably a good thing, right?
Yeah. I hope nobody has any of that. I still have a bunch of Maffa, but that's all I have from that crew.
But the point being, we went deep, right? And so I love you, man, because you are especially during the offseason, you guys got to make sure you're following Z at ZKantz, KANTZFF on X. You start getting deep in the offseason. You start getting the guys that are transferred from JUCO and had played 3 games and had you knew about who Bill was. before he was a blip on the radar, right? So you knew about Bill to where when people started talking about it, you're like, this is nauseating. Like, stop it. So we're gonna talk some more through those guys.
Such a, yeah.
We're gonna talk through some more of those guys tonight. Let's kick it off. Maybe a deep cut, maybe a guy who's underperformed. Who is finally set to break out in week 5?
So if you kind of like look at how these things work out, like Woody Marks, right? It was just a slow build up, right? And Woody Marks kind of his whole movement started during preseason games. You didn't hear anything about Woody Marks in OTAs. You didn't hear anything in training camp. You didn't hear anything. And then, during preseason games, he was shown out, and, his pass blocking was showing up, which was very beneficial, which is one of the main reasons why I think he's playing over Zareh and Gumbawale now, because he was awesome at pass blocking. And then, the trend started to build. He got more playing time and he started chipping away. And here he is, week 4. He's arrived. Didn't take long. So if we're going to talk about that same kind of a momentum building, I think I have to say Elic Ayomanor is my breakout candidate now. It's just, the offense isn't great right now, but Cam Ward kind of called out the entire offense after their disgusting loss, their blowout loss versus the Texans last week or, yesterday. There has to be some kind of amends made, and somebody has to take some accountability on this team. And, your quarterback is up there saying your entire team's ass. The coach is already being talked about getting fired. Calvin Ridley only played a 40% snap share, and Ayomanor has been getting more targets, and he's been matching Calvin Ridley, and it seems like maybe Calvin Ridley gets traded sooner than later. Maybe he goes to the Pats or something like that. I don't know, but Ayomanor is the offense isn't like a high EPA offense, but if he's the only one, the wide receiver getting targets, and he's looking good out there, he's looking smooth. He's coming down with big catches when he needs to. I think he's a candidate this week against the Arizona Cardinals to have a nice breakout game. I think the Titans kind of bring it, as relatively as good as a team like the Titans can kind of bring the ship back around and show up better, because, that's rock bottom what they did last week against the Texans. And that was a hard match, right? Like, their pass rush is great. You got Derek Stingley back there in the secondary. It's a really hard matchup for Cam Ward, who's been he's just absolutely lit up behind his offensive line. So I think Ayomanor, if you don't have him right now, he's the next guy you need to be stashing on your teams. In 10-team leagues, probably not, but like anything beyond a 10-team league, or a deep 10-team league, he's a guy you need to stash. He's going to be a flex for you, and then he can lead that team in touchdowns and receptions and receiving yards easily.
Dude, your call is so much better than the guy I had. So I'll bring up who I had in a minute, and we'll just glaze by it because I'm more wish casting at this point. But your guy's dead on. Like, there's so many leading indicators there. He already looks like Cam Ward's kind of like favorite guy from a chemistry perspective. He's put together some solid games, but I would say still counts as like we're waiting to see that full on breakout, right? And so Ridley's a little dinged up. Ayomanor, very talented player. I love the call out here. I think you're dead on. I think I would be a little more bullish and even say, like, if you're in a 10-team league where you can like drop guys after they've played, or like you've got a little bit more flexibility, like in some Yahoo leagues I play in, I'll pick up a guy who plays a Thursday night game. If he does nothing, I'll drop him. And I'll pick up a guy who plays a 1 p.m. game. If he's doing nothing at the 1 p.m. game, I'll drop him. And
all the time.
I like to keep a spot in those types of leagues that are pretty fluid. Hell yeah, Ayomanor should be on that short list of names, especially when you mentioned, Dave Kluge. I know he's one of your guys. I had him on the show a few weeks ago. He put out a tweet today just saying, like, the average football fan is getting sharper. Like a 4th-round rookie like Woody Marks, who's a 3rd stringer, would have been available in 98% of leagues before, heading into waivers this week. It's actually, he's only available in 64, right? So that just shows you, Woody Marks might not, he's obviously the top waiver out of the week, right? But it just goes to show that, like, this is competitive. You've got to be creative. You've got to take darts on these guys, even deep cuts in shallower leagues sometimes, just because they can pop off and be those guys that are like a Woody Marks, and now you're like, oh yeah, of course you're starting him, right? So the guy I was going to say was Dante Thornton Jr. just because, like, the analytics bros love him. Like, he's got the athleticism for days, and he's done relatively nothing in front of Jack Besh while Jack's been like riding pine, and Deontay Thornton's been kind of the third man up in that wide receiver room. And, Trey Tucker's had a couple explosive games. I'm calling it. He's done nothing for me to believe that this is going to happen in week 5, but let's just speak it into existence. Week 5, Dante Thornton Jr., long touchdown, 70+ yards. So that's my breakout candidate for this week.
Yeah, they get the Colts this week, so and the cornerbacks aren't the best, but they're pretty strong out there. But yeah, man, I think Geno Smith just missed Dante Thornton on a deep shot this past week, and he got picked off.
Yeah, and then he dropped one like right around the goal line, like Smith underthrew it, and Thornton could have caught it but dropped it. But if it would have been thrown like correctly, he probably could have caught it and went into the end zone. So just some of those things you do have to pay attention to, right? The box score doesn't tell the full story. Do not start Dante Thornton Jr., guys. That's not what I'm telling you to do this week, but I am telling you let's hope for a breakout. Keep him on your rosters in those dynasty leagues. He's rostered in almost all dynasty leagues. Don't give up on him quite yet. But I will be curious. I'll be watching those snap counts closely to see if Jack Besh starts to creep in a little more because Thornton really hasn't done much with that opportunity, but he's got all the athleticism to do it. So, okay, those are our week 5 breakout candidates. Next, I want to kind of shift gears. I feel like I've seen you post about this guy maybe 2 years ago, something like that, when he was a prospect, but that's Trey Benson. James Conner goes down. Amari DiMercado is not inspiring. They just signed Michael Carter to the active roster. Like, from a casual ball knower's perspective, you would assume this is going to be Trey Benson's backfield, and he's going to have the usage to justify targeting in fantasy leagues. Like, that's my quick and dirty synopsis. But do you agree? Do you think he's a good target in dynasty leagues, especially when you think about Connor dealing with a serious injury that could, potentially, he might not ever be the same guy again, right? So that's sort of where I see. I want to talk about Benson a little bit and get your thoughts on him.
Yeah, I believe if James Conner gets cut, the Cardinals save $8 million. It's his last year as a Cardinal, pretty much. Like, I'm 99% sure about that. Trey Benson, I loved as a prospect. I think I got over my skis with Trey Benson during his rookie year because he had this propensity to kind of just not run well on the outside for some reason. Good thing that the thing that Arizona does well is they run gap really well. They run a lot of gap, and he does look a lot better at a gap scheme this year. So I am more bullish on Trey Benson. I think he is a fine dynasty buy. Am I paying a first round price for him? Well, if somebody asked for a first round price right now, considering all things, I think that's kind of, they have a lot of audacity to do that because he hasn't really proven that, but I think he can be worth that. I think he can be worth that in time. Yesterday, last Thursday was his first game as a starter. Okay, and he didn't have a terrible game, but I mean, I think he's a fantastic talent. I loved him at Florida State. I think if you can get him for a second round pick right now, do it. Absolutely, pull the trigger on him.
Yeah, I like that. I like the way you're talking through all that. First is like a little rich, like you feel like you're just getting bent over a little bit, right? But if we can start a discussion with a trade partner and try and get them out of their hands for a second with a cherry on top, I'm doing that all day. So completely agree. Don't know if anyone's looking to sell with just, they've kind of been waiting for this moment if they're an owner of Trey Benson, but some people, they might just be kind of jaded with, having him on their roster for a year and a half now and not seeing the returns. So you heard it here from Z and I, like, great target in Dynasty. Don't overpay, but understand, that there's a path to him being the guy for not just this year, but the next couple of years, especially if they don't add competition in the draft in 2026. So that's a guy you guys all know and are talking about. But Z and I like to always talk about some guys who you've never freaking heard of. So you guys probably going to hear, you heard about him now after his touchdown catch in Dublin, Ireland, and that is Zavier Scott. So the question is, who is Zavier Scott, right? Tell me what you know about this guy.
I probably know just as much as anybody else does. I was doing research on him for this show on the way home from work today. What I found out was that he went to Zavier Scott went to the University of Connecticut from 2017 to 2019, and he only had 1 year of production, as far as I can tell, which was in 2018 as a running back or receiver. He's a hybrid running back wide receiver. He's one of those kinds of players. He had 1 year of production. I can't remember if it was wide receiver or running back. And then he transferred to University of Maine from 2020 to 2022. He led the team in receiving yards in 21. Didn't do much in 2022. And then apparently he's been in the NFL for the past 2 years. And I've never even heard of him. I mean, I heard a little about it. I think maybe like Thor Nystrom posted, because obviously Thor is from the biggest Minnesota fan. So I think Thor Nystrom might have posted a video about him in August, and that's when he first popped up on my radar. But outside of that, I mean, he's been in the NFL for the past 2 years. The Colts signed him as a UDFA to their practice squad. Then they released him in 2024. And then the Vikings signed him to their practice squad, then signed him to a reserve future deal. And then he made the 53-man roster this year. And here he is now as the second man up behind Jordan Mason, finished with 8 targets per PFR. PFF had him with 7 targets last week. So, there's a discrepancy of 1 target. But, I mean, I think he tied for third in targets with TJ Hawkinson behind Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson in week 7. And we all saw his touchdown catch that he made last week. And I saw that. I was like, that guy looks like a wide receiver. What running back catches a ball like that in the back of the end zone?
Yeah.
And you're like, and you see that guy, and I think that he's going to be a fixture of that offense until Aaron Jones gets back, and maybe might still be there when Aaron Jones gets back as a third man. So yeah, that kind of that knocks off the ceiling a little bit from Jordan Mason, because this guy's out there running routes, and he ran like the second least amount of routes, but his target per route run rate was insane because he got targeted so much. So I mean, if you need like if you're hurting an RB2 right now, a bye week's coming up, maybe you have some injuries. Zavier Scott, I mean, targets per route run, this guy's getting utilized as a receiver and maybe a little bit more as a running back. I mean, he's a big man. So, I mean, yeah, and as far as Dynasty goes, congratulations if you got him. Because, he had an awesome – I think he broke out last – I think that was a pretty good breakout game for him, all things considered, as a team's RB2. And if you're like in a 12-team, 14-team like Dynasty League, you keep him there. I mean, this guy could be, the next Austin Eckler for all we know. Who knows?
Yeah. No, I mean, such a fun prospect, right? Like in his college career, 109 carries and 93 catches. Thought it was super interesting. His senior year or his final year at Maine had like 9.5 yards per carry. So like they always kind of bucket him as a receiver and wanted him to be a receiver in college kind of first and foremost. But like the body style is built 6'1", 220. That's a running back, right? And when he got the chance to get some carries, like he was effective on the ground, right? And so you love that with a guy who's got that passing upside, who has those wide receiver traits. Like he's going to be mismatched on linebackers and safeties. He ran a 4.4 at his pro day. It's like a 4.49, right? But he's a 4.5 speed guy. It's super interesting. Like to your point, I play in some of these dynasty leagues where you've got to start like 15 players, like just the commissioners really trying to mess with everybody in the league with just some of these weird league settings with like additional, yards per catch for running backs, weird settings. Everybody, if you're not in one of those leagues, like get in 1 or 2 of them, because like standard fantasy football is great, but like it's always fun to add a little wrinkles. And yeah, he's totally a target for the next few weeks in those types of leagues where he can be in your lineup because Jordan Mason is that kind of ground and pound between the tackles guy, and Zavier Scott's kind of taken that passing game work. And I remember, and I think I even remember you tweeting about Ty Chandler, right? Like this dude has relegated Ty Chandler to the shadow realm, right? So Zavier Scott kind of has some juice, kind of fun. Probably won't be added in a lot of leagues this week just because he's still such a deep cut. So a guy to maybe spend some fab on accordingly, and depending on what type of league you're in. So hope you guys enjoyed our synopsis of Zavier Scott. I'm going to give you some credit, Z. You definitely know more about him than the casual viewer. So I really enjoyed talking through all of that.
I almost got a ticket on I was literally looking at my phone like this on the way home, researching Zavier Scott. Not worth it. Let me get into an accident looking up Zavier Scott. Yeah, I am, because I'm a sicko when it comes to these kinds of, the kinds of people I talk about. These guys that don't really amount to anything really in the NFL. And then of course Zavier Scott gets my attention. This guy, he's like a hardcore drug for me. Like, I'm like, oh, look at this guy. You practice squad guy who's done nothing. Oh, wow.
He's the next Austin Eckler. I love that.
Oh, this guy's gonna be a league winner. Yeah, this guy just degenning out in my car.
It's okay. I found the next guy with league winning upside.
Do you know how fast you were going? Do you know who Zavier Scott is? Officer, let me talk to you. Yeah, dude. So you're swerving all over the lanes. How much you drink? I'm drunk on Zavier Scott. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm actually watching film right now. Yes, dude. This is why I love having you on the show. It's why I know when I'm putting the show sheet together, like other people big scrap that guy. I don't want to talk about that guy. You're like, oh, who?
Dude, I
know. Good stuff, man. Well, we're going to keep it going. We're going to talk about some names you probably know or should know, and how to approach them in dynasty leagues. So don't go anywhere.
If you play in Dynasty, you need Dynasty Deluxe, our premium package for Dynasty Leaguers. We rank over 300 players, updated every week, all year long. And there's a win now mode and a rebuild mode with Superflex and tight end premium controls. And a Dynasty League sync, where you can say, sync down all of my sleeper teams, all my FFPC teams, and then you can browse around your leagues for who has needs, and then you can use our trade finder to see what kinds of trades are happening in leagues that are similar to the one I want to do. Then you can analyze trades using our trade analyzer, which balances the lifetime value, which includes pick values out to like 2028. All of that, plus the rookie guide, $25 value, is included. So if you're just in one Dynasty League, Dynasty Deluxe is well worth it. And use your host's promo code, and you can bump up to all in and get $25 off.
Yeah, use Fantasy Picasso if you want the Dynasty Deluxe package. I am on that tool every single day. Probably the main thing I use is the trade analyzer tool. It's good to use Keep Trade Cut. I use Draft Sharks. When I'm looking at a Dynasty trade, I'm using 50 different trade calculators just to see what everyone else thinks, and then I'm still making my own decision. But I really like I think Player Profilers is usually in line with where my head's at the most. So really love our trade finder tool. Love the Dynasty Deluxe package. I'm going to shift gears on the show sheet a little bit because I actually used the Dynasty Deluxe to put a trade together for one of these guys. So my next question for you, and I'll tell you who my guy was and who I used the trade finder on, because I actually went out and bought this guy this week. And so I'll tell you that trade. You can tell me I lost the trade. Everybody can tell me I lost the trade, and I'm still making the trade 10 days out of 10 days. But who is your biggest buy low in Dynasty right now?
Right now, Tahj Brooks. I think Tahj Brooks is probably my biggest buy low right now. Yeah. Yeah.
And Chase Brown has rushed for under 2 yards per carry. We do have the Monday night game. We're recording. I got my Broncos jersey on. We all know the Broncos are like a get right run defense. So Chase Brown's probably going to run all over them. But I do like the call out.
Well, it's also it also applies to redraft too. Like you were saying, pick up and drop players all the time. If that guy doesn't do anything, drop him. pick up the next handcuff for the next slate of games. That guy doesn't do anything, drop him. So I was cycling. I cycled through Will Shipley, Kalmanon guy this week. Nobody did anything. Nobody became relevant. And then Tahj Brooks is my next guy on my bench. And I think he's just a better runner than Chase Brown is. I mean, Tahj Brooks, this guy, I put out a tweet. I'll try to pull up my tweet right now. But I mean, he dealt with offensive line, he dealt with a horrible offensive line in college and still managed to put up huge numbers. I mean, this guy is no stranger to horrible offensive line play. I mean, like I wrote this year, I wrote Tahj Brooks isn't coming for Chase Brown's job this year, but it's tough. I wrote this in June, but it's tough to write off an RB who has run for 1,500 yards over the last 2 years. Each of the last 2 years, he's done that.
Yeah.
The evolution of the touch distribution will be something to monitor as the teams get more exposure to Brooks's talents in live action, right? Which haven't been really much of anything right now. 6th round draft capital for RBs isn't as detrimental as it is for every other position. A conservative projection for Brooks would be a minimum of 100 rush attempts for 400 to 500 rushing yards. If he begins to eat into Brown's carries by midseason at a rate of 5 per game, Brooks would have about 145 attempts for 600 to 700 rushing yards, right? And and there might be room for more than that based on how Chase Brown is doing right now. And I understand the offense is without Joe Burrow, but I mean, I really don't think Jake Browning is that big of a crutch argument to lean on for Chase Brown's rushing production. There should be more than 2 yards per carry, even for, a below average running back. Chase Brown got a lot of smoke this offseason because people constantly overlook the fact that he had an 85% snap share in an offense with Joe Burrow, right? And I was like, all right, he had a lot of volume in an offense with the best quarterback in the league and the best wide receivers in the league. And now we're seeing kind of maybe he was a fraud. Maybe he was fraudulent.
The way you said that, maybe
he was fraudulent, right? And so I have Tahj Brooks. On my team tonight because I feel pretty confident that we're going to see we got to see some of Tahj Brooks. We can't keep doing this. The division is on the line right now, and this team needs to turn it around quick if they want to compete in the division. It's a strong division. There's no time to really kind of keep pushing, keep doing the same old. Chase Brown, you don't really did they? I don't know. As far as I can tell, they didn't, or if I can remember, they didn't sign him to anything or extend him to anything.
No.
Cheap, late round pick, I believe.
Yeah, 5th rounder.
Maybe 5th rounder.
4th.
They don't really owe him anything.
Yeah.
So if you want to give Tahj Brooks a look, give Tahj Brooks a look. This guy's done a million. This is what this guy does. This is he's what Matt Waldman calls his lemonade stand guy. He makes lemonades out of just
lemonade out of lemons. Yeah.
Lemonade out of lemon. He makes lemons out of lemons, dude.
I gotcha.
So yeah.
Dude,
I mean, I think this is a really, really, really good buy low candidate right now.
I just took your advice, 14-team redraft league. I had Mason Taylor because I did that thing where I drop and I pick up a guy on Monday or in the Monday night game. But then I just looked, I'm like, I don't need a backup tight end. I need an upside running back. And Brooks was available, just added him to my team, dropped Mason Taylor. So real actionable advice on the Dynasty Deep Dive. Now, you guys are going to be seeing the show on Friday, but the lesson rings true. And I love the call, Z. I think it's a great call out as a guy who, has done absolutely nothing this year, but he's in such a position to get a deeper look over the next few weeks. And I would argue starting tonight in Denver, to your point. So we'll see how that all unfolds and how this take ages in the intermediate order. So my guy that I was telling you I made the trade for, and this is tight end premium, is Colston Loveland. I think I've been the biggest Loveland truther. If you've watched this show, I think he's an extremely talented pass catcher. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Chicago Bears offense. In a dynasty league, like you have to think long term. DJ Moore isn't going to be there forever. Cole Kmet's not going to be there forever. And if I told you it was Luther Burden, Rome Odunze and Colston Loveland as the top 3 pass catching options for the Bears next year, you'd be really excited about Colston Loveland, right? So I think now's the time to get in on that. He's a bit banged up. Now they've got a bye week. Managers are probably getting a little impatient. And again, I'm in a tight end premium league where it's 2 points per tight end reception, where everyone else just gets 1 point. So it's a pretty heavy premium on tight end. I was able to get Colston Loveland, and I traded away a second. I traded away Chris Olave in a second for Colston Loveland in a third. Now, most of the trade apps say I lost that trade. But again, I am going to stand on business and believe in my guys. I like Chris Olave. I don't love Chris Olave like I love Colston Loveland. So I think Colston Loveland is a guy who I was able to acquire this week at a somewhat of a discount, right? If I would have tried to send him that offer, the owner, right during the draft, he would have laughed in my face, right? But it's been a bit of a disheartening first couple of weeks with Cole Kmet's usage. I think that's going to change as the season unfolds, honestly, this year. But especially long-term Dynasty, go out and get you some Colston Loveland. Go buy him low. Maybe it's this week or next week. Again, he's got a bye. He's a little dinged up, but I think coming into week 6, that bye window could close. So that's my guy. What do you roast my trade? Roast that trade.
No, dude. No, you gave up Chris Olave, who's a fine prospect. And no, he's a fine player, obviously. But you gave up like a floor, and you said a second round pick or a third round pick?
Second round pick.
You gave up a floor and a second round pick, and a second round pick. A second round pick is a lottery ticket. Is a lottery ticket, really. For a really high upside athlete, in a 2-point premium tight end league, you said 2 points per reception. Yeah. No, you're making that trade. No, these are the trades that win you your league. Chris Olave isn't going to win you the league. I mean, he's a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 2, right? And if Colston Loveland hits, he's going to be a league winner for your team because of the scoring settings. You get 2 points per reception on that team, right? And so you take that shot. You take that shot for Chris Olave. Fine. You're not gonna really miss Chris Olave. I mean, you could. He's like a PPR scam guy right now, and his second round pick, you get rid of. You part ways with that. That's what second round picks are for. They're throw-ins. Yeah. Those are throw-in picks.
And I've got JSN, Jamar Chase, and Nico at wide receiver. Like, as long as those guys are healthy and kicking, and you only have to start 2 wide receivers in the league. Like, those are the types of moves where you can try and, I love what you said, chase that league winning upside. So thanks for not making me feel too bad on that one, brother. Let's close it out. Let's do just some quick fire Dynasty sell candidates. So we just gave you a couple buy candidates in Tahj Brooks and Colston Loveland. Do you have anybody that you're glaringly looking to get out of the business of whoever they are after they've had a good start to this year? Anybody that's a glaring sell high candidate for you?
No, nobody at the top of my head. I really, honestly, I'm going through my teams right now, and there's really nobody I want to get rid of right now. I mean, I love my team so much. I like all of my dynasty.
I'll give you a couple guys, and these are going to be edgy. Okay. Puka Nacua, wide receiver 1 in Dynasty, basically has kind of jumped the tiers, right? You know, Burrow's hurt, so Chase gets dinged. Neighbors tore his ACL, so he gets dinged. Justin Jefferson has quarterback uncertainty as well, right? My biggest hang up with Nacua, Stafford can't hang around forever. This is the guy who said he wants to retire by the time he's 30. Like, you're not even entertaining it.
I mean, no. I mean, Puka Nacua, I think I think they could,
right?
Huh?
He's a league winner. Like, he's just,
I'm just not. I'm not. Yeah. You cannot have him. You can't have him.
Jonathan Taylor, another guy. I was super, like, one of my highest rostered guys in best ball, super in on him this season. The production is absolutely no surprise to me. When he is healthy, he is one of the top 5 backs in the NFL easily. The problem is 14 or less games in 3 straight seasons. Like, he gets dinged up, right? He's a physical running style. Not sell him now either.
He's a running back. That's the nature of the position. And if you're giving him up, that means he's going to be probably your RB1 on your team. Maybe you've done really well for yourself at running back and you have more than one viable top tier RB1. So that means you're going to trade him away probably for another asset in next year's draft, which, there's a couple in next year's draft that are nice. I believe Jeremiah Love at Notre Dame is his name. And, there's Jonah Coleman, who's kind of a Taylor-esque. Jonah Coleman's a dog. But, Taylor, if you're getting rid of him, you better get a haul. I mean, I don't hate that. I never say no to trading away running back outside of like Bijan or HN. Really those two right now. I really wouldn't, just because the receptions are they're just such weapons out of the backfield. But I mean, outside of that, like, yeah, you can trade away Jonathan Taylor. That's fine. I don't mind.
You're so funny. I'm not saying to do it. I'm just saying it's interesting, right? Like these are the type of people where I'm like, man, they're killing it right now. The value's through the roof. Like just like in stocks, you buy low and you sell high, right? And so it's so hard to let go of these guys when they are doing exactly what you envisioned them to do. But at the same time, see if there's an offer you can't refuse,
Also, I will say with Jonathan Taylor is that you kind of want to project what the team's going to look like. I guess like, a year from now or 2 years from now. Right now, Frank Reich's doing great. They're doing great for Daniel Jones, dude. They're doing really good. So I mean, man, I mean, the team looks really good right now. And I don't know, maybe Daniel Jones turns back into a pumpkin, and then Jonathan Taylor goes down with the ship. And maybe you just want to get rid of it now. But I mean, Jonathan Taylor is being utilized I think he just got 5 targets last week. They're using him out of the backfield a lot. I mean, if you're losing, obviously as a dynasty team, get rid of him and get some picks in.
Dude, it's a super interesting point. I don't want to open Pandora's box there, but to your point, like part of your belief in Jonathan Taylor is tied to the belief in the offense and therefore Daniel Jones. So there's a whole nother way to look at that. So interesting points. I'm going to close it out with one last guy that I'm just going to keep bringing up until he's not a thing anymore. Quentin Johnston. I mean, this is another sell high candidate, right? Like last week I said, if you can get a first for him, you got to do it. And then he goes out and puts 24 points up again. And I'm like, damn, is he going to make me eat that take? Like, are we selling high on QJ, or are you buying this, man?
I don't know, man. I haven't really given Quentin Johnston a lot of thought. I mean, he's gotten a lot.
Dude, it's intrusive thoughts, bro.
I got Quentin Johnston after his rookie year for a 2nd round pick because of the drops. And then I was like, okay, there's a lot more to like than there is to not like about Quentin Johnston. So I'm going to buy him for a 2nd round pick. And I still have him on the teams that I got him. If you sell him right now, there's nobody really better that you're going to get in next year's draft. If you're following next year's wide receiver draft, it's not flush with wide receivers. So why not just ride Quentin Johnston, who's tied to Justin Herbert, who's probably going to get extended on the Chargers, and just be with Justin Herbert for the next 2 to 3 years? I mean, Quentin Johnston has gotten better every year he's been in the league. And now he is... You put Ladd McConkey. He's buried Ladd McConkey. I mean, what the hell?
Things I never thought I would say for 500, right?
Yeah. They've Harbaugh saw Quentin Johnston in his first year in LA with the LA Chargers as the head coach, and saw something in him, kept him around, could have easily cut him after how bad he was. I mean, he even had some horrible drops during Harbaugh's first year. And Harbaugh still loved him and kept him around and just loves the guy and believes in him. So, the coach believes in him. Justin Herbert's feeding him the ball. They've changed the entire offense to fit Quentin Johnston and the passing attack. I mean, it's really hard to ignore it. I mean, maybe we need to not think about the Quentin Johnston of old and see Quentin Johnston as a new kind of guy. I mean, I haven't looked at his metrics yet. I haven't had time to sit and look at his metrics.
They're good.
Yeah. What's his yards per route run? What does he have right now?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I'm sure it's over 2 yards per route run, which is
Yeah, he's probably going crazy right now, and he's doing it. And he's demanding those targets on the field of Lad McConkey and Keenan Allen and those two guys are like legit top tier wide receivers.
Gadsden's pretty legit too, and he's fighting with targets for him too.
Yeah, yeah. Don't forget Ronde Gadsden too, man. I mean, that's a nice little buy low too if you want.
I'm just kidding, but no, I love you've kind of changed my sentiment, man. Like with the Justin Herbert remark, right? You're buying in, especially in Dynasty, to like long-term viability. They're slinging that football right now. This is not a run-first offense, and I think a lot of people still have that stuck in their head from the Harbaugh offenses of old. So, be fluid. To your point, before you consider selling him, probably a good idea to look at the all-22 film, look at some of the routes, see if he is the same guy or if he's made some steps forward. Because I'm just so reluctant to believe it. I have not gone and done like the film charting for him, but I'm probably going to do that as a takeaway from this show. So
the process with Quentin Johnston is the same process as what you did with Colston Loveland trade, right? Like you get him cheap 2 years ago for he's a former first round pick, so he's got first round draft capital right away, right? He has some drop issues. Okay, fine. You bought in cheap. I sent a second round pick. Okay, fine. You want a second round pick? Sure, take it. What the hell am I going to do with a second round pick? If I can get a guy who was drafted 2 years ago or a year ago as a first round pick for a second round rookie pick, take him. So you sent a second round pick in Chris Olave for Loveland in a 2-point premium tight end premium league. It's the same process. You went for the upside. You're like, let's just see what happens. I in the Discord at 32 Beat Writers, sometimes they'll ask me a question like, what do you think here? I'm like, there's a lot of things that are just not in your control in fantasy football. And sometimes you just got to pay up a little bit and let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens. It's like playing poker, and you're chasing outs. You're paying to see the next card. You don't know what the next card is going to be, but you know the odds of what should be coming out, and you pay up. And if the price is right, if you get good pot odds, you put in the money, and there should be a payout. So this is what we're doing with these guys. We're paying the pot odds for the payout based on the odds of them hitting. That's all it is.
Just degenerate gamblers at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Found a way to turn that into looking at Zavier Scott while driving and never putting Quentin Johnston. So, Z, always a pleasure having you on the show, man. You could come on every week and I wouldn't complain. Close it out. Tell the people. I think last time you were on the show, you were doing football guy stuff. Now you're with 32 Beat Writers, one of my favorite guys in the football space. So just make sure that people know where they can find you, where they can see the work you do, because it's good stuff, man.
Yeah, you can find me on X at ZKantzFF, but I am the lead fantasy analyst at 32 Beat Writers. I'm sure you guys know who 32 Beat Writers are. We're the premier, off-season. We primarily are like the hub for off-season traffic as far as, beat reports coming out from training camp. But I'm their lead fantasy analyst, and if you guys want to, come along, find out what your players are doing. I mean, we source all the information at 32 Beat Writers for the players for all your players, and what we find out nuggets that you're just not going to see on X. We have so many reports coming in, and we have an entire player feed that you can sync up to your fantasy team, so you can go on there when you sign into the website and then just see what reports are coming out about your players or about the team they're on, and anything that the coaches are talking about that you miss on X. Because what happens on X is one report gets taken and gets amplified to death, and everything gets kind of thrown at everything else. There's a bunch of small nuggets that get thrown under the current. So, if you want, come subscribe, come check us out, 32 Beat Writers. I'm there, and hit me up on X if you got any questions.
Dude, they're lucky to have you. I think it's a great fit for a guy like you who's just like so deep in the trenches of this game. So thanks for joining the show again, man. If you guys like the show, give it a like, thumbs up, leave a comment for any questions you got for Z and I, and then subscribe to the Player Profiler page, because we got awesome content coming to you all season and all off season. Thanks for watching, guys, and good luck winning your fantasy leagues, and don't hesitate to lean in to the Dynasty Deep Dive and Player Profiler.